And here we got our second lesson on exponents. This is more about how they interact with grouping symbols. You really still want to follow order of operations. So you have to just finish everything inside of the parentheses first, and then you can use the exponents if it's on the outside. Then you use that after you figure out the number on the inside. So like here, you can see we have both of those cases. We have a number on the outside. We have an exponent on the outside of the parentheses. That's going to happen after we figure out everything inside of the parentheses. We also have an exponent inside. That's going to just happen in order of operations inside the parentheses. So there we have subtraction, and we have an exponent. So we'll actually be doing that exponent before the subtraction, just following order of operations inside of there, and then using the exponent on the outside. Let's change the colors. Let's go with orange. We still have to follow GEMDA, so we're going to do everything in the parentheses. When I have parentheses that are separated by addition like that, I know I can do those two things separately. I know they're not going to actually interact with each other aside from that addition. So I'm going to do everything inside of here, everything inside of there separately, and then I'm really just going to add those two together. So I have to follow order of operations still. So I still have to follow order of operations inside of there. I have subtraction, and I have an exponent, so I have to do my exponent first. That's going to give me 2 minus 9. Do not type it in as negative 3 squared. It's not negative 3 squared. It's minus whatever we get from that, or the opposite of 3 squared. The opposite of 3 squared is the opposite of 9, or negative 9, plus 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Now I can finish inside of the left parentheses. That's negative 7, plus I'm going to do this set of parentheses also. I'm going to do negative 1 squared. That's negative 1 times negative 1. Again, this one you can trust the calculator because it's inside the parentheses. Negative 1 squared gives us a positive 1. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. Number 3, same kind of thing. I have parentheses there, and then I have addition. I'm adding whatever 2 times this parentheses is. So I know I can do those 2 parentheses separately. If you really want to take this one step at a time, you can go from left to right and just follow order of operations. Really, that's what that says when we have parentheses. We have a second set of parentheses. If we have 2 separate grouping symbols, you do want to work that left to right. But I know that these aren't going to affect each other, so I'm going to do them both at the same time. In the left parentheses, I'm going to square that 3. So negative 10 is still on the outside of it. And I have 5 minus 9 squared. That entire thing is squared. The squared is on the outside of the parentheses. Plus 2 times negative 2 plus 4 is a positive 2. So now I'm going to do inside that left parentheses. I'm just going to finish inside of there. That's going to be negative 10 times negative 4 squared plus 2 times 2 to the 3rd power. So I have an exponent here and another exponent over there. I can actually do those at the same time. They're not going to affect each other at all. Negative 4 squared, here's where we can trust the calculator again. It's negative inside the parentheses, so it's a negative 4 times a negative 4. That's a positive 16. Again, keep the parentheses around that number. We still know that this is multiplication, so that has to stay as multiplication. Plus 2 times 2 to the 3rd power, the same 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Now I have multiplication, addition, and another multiplication. So I'm going to multiply. First, I'm going to take this from left to right. I'm going to do negative 10 times 16, that's negative 160, plus 2 times 8. That's my next step. Doing 2 times 8, that's 16, so negative 60, sorry, negative 160, plus 16. That would give me negative 144. On number 5, I have 4 times, anytime I have a number outside of a square root, absolute value, brackets, parentheses, any grouping symbol, it's basically saying I'm multiplying that. So 4 times whatever I get from inside of it. So I have to do everything inside of there first. I'm following GEMDAS. I'm actually just going to write this checklist just for inside of the square root symbol. I have to do inside of this grouping symbol first, working inside out. So I have to do -2 minus 7. That's all I'm doing here. So I have 4 times -16 plus 2 minus 7 is -5, and that's squared. I need to keep the parentheses there because it's -5 squared. Oh, I wrote that wrong. Sorry, that should be a plus sign. -5 squared is a positive 25. That's -5 times -5. That's a positive 25. So I have 4 times the square root of -16 plus 25. That's the same thing as 4 times the square root of 9. Just simplifying that by adding those two. Now I have to do the square root next. So I do the square root of 9, that's 3. And it's just 4 times that, which is 4 times 3, or 12.